Colleen Hoover. I mean, if you've been anywhere near a bookstore, or let's be real, the internet, in the last few years, you definitely know that name. She's a publishing giant, but her latest thriller, Woman Down, might just be our most twisted story yet. So, okay, let's get right into this plot and figure out what all the hype is about.
At its heart, this story is just the perfect storm of professional ruin, a super dangerous attraction, and a web of lies so thick you can't see the truth until it's way, way too late. It's really about what happens when your life and your art are built on one lie after another.
All right, so let's meet our protagonist. Her name is Petra Rose, and she's a best-selling author who is, to put it mildly, having a really bad year. In fact, her career is in a complete freefall, and honestly, she kind of has no one to blame but herself. So here's how it all went wrong, and boy did it go wrong fast. Petra's huge novel, A Terrible Thing, was famous for this epic love triangle. But when the movie version came out, they cut one of the main characters. The fans were furious. Petra Goes Public claims she had no idea until leaked text proved she not only knew, she actually approved it. The backlash was, well, nuclear. We're talking hashtags, social media outrage, the whole shebang. This is basically Petra's mantra, you know? It's what she's repeating to herself as she's literally running away from her life, trying to escape this digital mob that's labeled her a liar. She feels completely betrayed by everyone, but the irony is, she's the one who betrayed her readers first.
So her career isn't just in trouble, it is on life support. Her book sales have completely tanked, her mortgage is screaming at her, and she has a crippling case of writer's block. Her only hope? Get away to some isolated cabin and write a new masterpiece that will make everyone forget. The stakes are pretty simple. Write this book or lose absolutely everything.
And just as Petra hits rock bottom, staring at a blank page, her story literally walks right up to her front door. And it's a story that seems almost too perfect, a little too convenient to actually be true.
So one night, a police officer knocks on her door. His name is Nathaniel Saint. He says he's investigating a crime down the road. But get this. He is the living, breathing version of Cam, the fictional married cop she's trying to write about in our new book. I mean, the coincidence is just mind-blowing.
So you've got Cam on one side, right? The character she's struggling to bring to life. And on the other, you have Officer Saint, a real man with a real wedding ring standing right there on her porch. The line between what's fiction and what's real just starts to blur almost instantly.
So how does she justify what happens next? Research. That's the excuse. She tells herself that to really write about an affair, she has to experience it. You know, for the art. She needs to feel the guilt, the thrill, all of it. So she convinces herself that getting involved with this married cop is just a form of method writing.
But this research spirals into something way more intense and dangerous than she ever could have imagined. Saint isn't just a muse. He's a master manipulator, and he is pushing every single boundary. This line he says to her over the phone just shows you how dark and all-consuming their affair becomes.
But just as Petra is getting deeper and deeper into this fantasy, the cracks start to show. She starts to realize that this perfect story she just stumbled into might actually be a perfectly constructed trap. And the man she thinks is her muse, well, he might just be a monster.
And this becomes the central question of the whole story. Who is this guy who just appeared out of nowhere, fitting so perfectly into the exact narrative she needed? Was it just fate? Or was it something calculated?
Her suspicion really kicks into high gear when he shows up outside her actual home, just watching her family. It's terrifying. So that pushes her to do a little digging. She starts asking around town about that crime that first brought Saint to her door, and she discovers it never happened. The whole story was a lie. Then her neighbor Mari finally confesses. Saint paid her to back up his story.
So Petra runs a background check, and it confirms her absolute worst fear. Officer Saint is not a cop. The uniform, the badge, the authority, it was all a complete act.
And then the other shoe drops. That wedding ring, the tormented wife he talked about, also fake. The entire foundation of their affair, the guilt and the thrill that was fueling her writing, was a total fabrication.
When she finally confronts him, he doesn't even deny it. Instead, he just turns the accusation right back on her. He throws her own secrets in her face, the fact that she's a wife and a mother, details she keeps hidden from her public persona. He basically uses her own deceptions to justify his.
So yeah, Officer Saint never existed. His real name is Eric Kingston, and every single part of his identity, his job, his marriage, his reason for being at her cabin, was a cruel, calculated performance designed just for her.
Okay, but if Eric was just performing, that means someone had to be directing, right? Someone knew Petra was at that cabin, knew she was vulnerable, and knew exactly what kind of story she was trying to write. The final twist isn't about the fake cop, it's about who sent him.
Who would know Petra well enough to orchestrate something so devastating and so personal? Who would betray her that completely?
Yep, the person she trusted most in the entire world, the one she called to celebrate finding her muse, the friend who encouraged her every step of the way, it was Nora all along.
Nora's explanation is that her intentions were good, if, completely insane. She knew Eric from college. She says she only asked him to show up and pretend to be a cop to give Petra a little inspiration and break her writer's block. She swears she had no idea he was going to invent a fake marriage or start a real destructive affair. But for Petra, the reason doesn't even matter. The betrayal is absolute.
In the end, Petra does the only thing she knows how to do. She writes. She takes all that pain, all the lies, and all the heartbreak, and she just pours it into her manuscript. She finishes her novel, and she calls it Woman Down. And it's a massive success. It saves her career. So she got what she wanted, but the cost was her marriage, her friendship, and her trust in anyone, especially herself.
And that leaves us with the final, lingering question. Is it the manipulative muse who was just playing a part? The best friend who set the whole trap, even if she says it was unintentional? Or is it the desperate author who was so willing to believe a lie because it was the exact story she wanted to write? It's messy, it's complicated, and honestly, that's what makes the story so unforgettable.